What's the difference between tourists who leave Nara disappointed and those who call it the highlight of their Japan trip? It all comes down to knowing exactly what to see, when to see it, and how to maximize your time. Today I'm sharing 18 essential experiences that will transform your Nara visit from ordinary to unforgettable. Whether you've got 1 day or 3, this guide will show you how to experience everything from ancient temples to sacred deer encounters without missing the hidden gems that most visitors never discover. First on our list is Todai-ji Temple, home to one of Japan's most incredible sights. You walk through the massive Nandaimon Gate and suddenly face something that makes you feel tiny. A 15-meter bronze Buddha that nearly bankrupted ancient Japan to build. Most visitors snap photos and leave, missing the hidden details that reveal why this temple became so powerful, the government had to move the capital away from Nara. Emperor Shomu commissioned this temple in 752 AD as a massive national project. Over 2.6 million people contributed to its construction, with 350,000 directly involved in creating the Great Buddha statue. This wasn't just any Buddha. It's Vairocana Buddha representing the Cosmic Buddha, flanked by bodhisattvas in what was once Japan's most important religious site. Arrive early at 8 a.m. to avoid crowds and spend 45 minutes exploring. Look for the pillar with a hole you can crawl through for good luck. It's the same size as the Buddha's nostril. The current hall is actually 2/3 smaller than the original, making this achievement even more impressive. Up next are the Nara Deer, and these aren't your typical park animals. Over 1,100 deer roam freely through Nara, but they're considered sacred messengers of the gods with some serious personality quirks. Tourists often get frustrated when deer ignore them or become pushy, not realizing there's an ancient protocol for interacting with these divine creatures. These deer connect to the Shinto deity Takemikazuchi no Mikoto, and have been protected for over 1,300 years as national treasures. During the Nara period, killing a deer was actually a capital offense. The secret to successful deer encounters is buying Shika senbei crackers from official vendors for around 200 yen. Bow to the deer and they'll often bow back before accepting treats. The magic moment comes when you realize you're participating in an ancient ritual. These deer have been teaching visitors respect and patience for centuries. Remember, they're semi-wild animals with different personalities, so expect both friendly and standoffish behavior. Next essential spot is Nara Park itself, and this isn't just a park. It's a massive outdoor museum where Japan's most important temples, shrines, and sacred deer coexist in 1,240 acres of perfectly maintained landscape. Many visitors rush between attractions without realizing the park itself tells the story of Japan's birth as a unified nation. What makes Nara Park unique is how it contains all the main attractions within walking distance of each other. Unlike other Japanese cities where temples are scattered across town, everything here connects seamlessly. Start early morning at 7 a.m. for the best light and fewer crowds. Plan for a full day and use Kintetsu Nara Station as your entry point. The genius of Nara Park becomes clear when you understand it preserves the original layout of Japan's first permanent capital. Each temple and shrine sits positioned according to ancient feng shui principles. Seasonal changes make each visit different, from cherry blossoms in April to autumn colors in November. Next must-see spot is Mount Wakakusa, where every January locals deliberately set an entire mountainside on fire in a spectacular festival that lights up the night sky. The reason behind this ancient tradition might surprise you. Most tourists only see photos of the Wakakusa Yamayaki festival, missing the year-round hiking opportunities and the historical dispute that started this burning tradition. This tradition began as a way to settle boundary disputes between Todai-ji Temple, Kofuku-ji Temple, and Kasuga Shrine. Now it continues as a way to prevent wildfires and maintain grassland. The festival happens on the 4th Saturday of January with fireworks starting around 5:15 p.m., but you can hike the mountain year-round for panoramic views of Nara. The 30-minute hike to the summit reveals why this mountain was worth fighting over. You get incredible views of the entire Nara Basin and can see how the ancient capital was laid out. Hiking is best from March to November, taking about 1 hour round trip. Before we continue to the next thing to do on our list, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more travel guides just like this one. Our next destination is Kasuga Taisha Shrine, where a pathway lined with thousands of stone lanterns leads to one of Japan's most important Shinto shrines. The real spectacle happens when you understand why people have been donating these lanterns for over 1,100 years. During the day, the lanterns look impressive but ordinary. The transformation happens twice a year when all 3,000 are lit simultaneously, creating an otherworldly experience. Founded in 768 AD by the powerful Fujiwara clan, this shrine was built to protect the new capital of Heijo. Each lantern represents a prayer or wish from worshippers across the centuries. The Fujiwara family played a major role in Japan's history for many centuries, making this shrine politically significant beyond its spiritual importance. Visit during Setsubun in February or Obon in August for the full lantern lighting, or come at dawn for the most atmospheric photos with fewer crowds. The spiritual power becomes tangible when you walk through the main shrine area with hundreds of bronze lanterns hanging overhead, understanding that you're surrounded by centuries of hopes and prayers. Allocate 90 minutes for the full experience, including the approach walk and inner shrine exploration. Moving on to Nakatanidou, where you'll find something truly special. In a tiny shop near Kofuku-ji, 3 generations of mochi makers perform what looks like magic, pounding rice into perfect mochi at superhuman speed. Tourists often walk past this unassuming shop, missing one of Japan's most impressive food performances that happens multiple times daily. This family business has perfected the art of mochi making through generations. The current master pounds mochi faster than most people can follow with their eyes. Shows happen roughly every 30 minutes, with the best performances usually between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. when crowds gather. The mochitsuki technique isn't just for show. The moment you taste the incredibly fresh, still warm mochi, you understand why this shop has become legendary. The speed creates a texture impossible to achieve with slow methods. Budget 20 minutes to watch a performance and try different mochi varieties, including their famous yomogi mochi with mugwort and sweet bean paste. Next up is Higashimuki Shopping Street, and this covered shopping street connects JR Nara Station to the park, but smart travelers know it's actually Nara's best kept secret for authentic local food and unique souvenirs. Most visitors rush through heading to the temples, completely missing the family-run shops that have been serving locals for generations. This street represents real Nara life, with traditional sweet shops, local restaurants, and craft stores that tourists rarely discover. Try Kakinoha Sushi at Tanaka near the entrance. This persimmon leaf sushi dates back to the Edo period, with the leaves adding subtle flavor to the rice and fish. Sample local sake and look for deer-themed everything from cookies to clothing. The street comes alive when you realize you're experiencing Nara as locals do, shopping where families have been coming for decades rather than tourist traps. Plan 45 minutes for exploration and food sampling, ideally on your way to or from the main attractions. Another essential spot is Kofuku-ji Temple and Sarusawa Pond, where a 5-story pagoda reflects perfectly in a small pond, creating one of Japan's most photographed scenes. This temple complex holds secrets that most visitors never discover. Everyone gets the reflection shot, but few realize they're looking at the remains of what was once one of Japan's most powerful temple complexes, with over 150 buildings. Kofuku-ji was the family temple of the influential Fujiwara clan and once rivaled Todai-ji in political power before most buildings were lost to fires and wars. The best reflection shots happen in early morning with still water, and the pagoda is beautifully lit at night during certain seasons. The true significance emerges when you explore the temple museum and see the incredible Buddhist statues that survived the destruction, including the renowned Ashura statue. Spend 60 minutes total, 20 minutes for photos at the pond, 40 minutes exploring the temple and museum. Next on our list is the Nara National Museum, and while everyone heads to the temples, This museum houses Buddhist art so precious that some pieces are only displayed once a year, if you know when to look. The permanent collection is impressive, but the real treasures appear during special exhibitions that many visitors miss entirely. This museum contains the world's finest collection of Buddhist art, with approximately 2,000 national treasures and important cultural properties. These pieces come from temples across Japan that are too valuable to display permanently. The annual Shosoin exhibition in fall displays imperial treasures normally locked away, making it the most important cultural event in Nara. The museum transforms your temple visits when you understand the artistic traditions and religious symbolism behind what you're seeing in the actual temples. Allocate 90 minutes for the permanent collection, or 2 hours during special exhibitions, ideally before visiting the temples for context. Up next is Naramachi, and south of the temples lies a perfectly preserved merchant quarter where traditional wooden townhouses hide museums, shops, and restaurants that locals have kept secret for generations. Most tourists never venture beyond the park area, missing this authentic neighborhood where you can step inside traditional Japanese homes and see how people really lived. These Machiya townhouses were built by wealthy merchants, with narrow fronts to avoid taxes, but deep interiors that reveal the ingenuity of traditional Japanese architecture. Property taxes were based on street frontage, so merchants created narrow storefronts but compensated with deep interiors for business and living space. Many townhouses are free to enter, with the best examples showing traditional crafts, antique collections, and period room setups. Walking through these preserved streets transports you to Edo period Japan, where you can understand daily life beyond the temples and imperial buildings. Plan 2 hours for thorough exploration, including entering several townhouses and browsing traditional craft shops. Enjoying this video? Hit subscribe now before we move on to the next thing to do on Nara, so you never miss our simple, no-fluff travel guides. Another must-see spot is Naramachi Nigiwai-no-Ie, and behind an unassuming storefront lies a beautifully restored merchant's home that reveals how wealthy traders really lived in traditional Japan. This free attraction is often overlooked, but it contains some of the finest examples of traditional Japanese interior design and architecture in Nara. This Edo period building showcases the sophisticated lifestyle of successful merchants, with multiple tatami rooms, traditional gardens, and period furnishings arranged exactly as they would have been centuries ago. The Machiya design maximizes limited urban space through clever room arrangements and indoor-outdoor connections. The building offers free tea service in traditional style, and volunteers often provide detailed explanations of architectural features like sliding doors, wooden beams, and garden views. The experience becomes profound when you sit in the tatami rooms and understand how traditional Japanese homes created harmony between indoor and outdoor spaces. Spend 45 minutes exploring all rooms and gardens, ideally accepting the tea service for the full cultural experience. Next essential spot is Harushika Sake Brewery Store, and in a region where sake brewing began over 1,000 years ago, this traditional brewery offers tastings of varieties you can't find anywhere else in the world. Many visitors skip sake experiences, not realizing that Nara's water and rice created some of Japan's most prestigious brewing traditions. Nara's temples pioneered sake brewing techniques, with monks developing methods that spread throughout Japan and are still used today. Try the seasonal varieties and limited editions, ask about food pairings, and learn about the different rice varieties used in production. The complexity of flavors reveals why sake is considered an art form, with each variety reflecting different aspects of Nara's climate, water, and traditional techniques. Allocate 30 minutes for tasting and education, ideally paired with local snacks to enhance the flavors. Moving on to Yoshikien Garden, and while crowds pack other attractions, this 3-part garden offers free entry to foreign visitors and contains some of Japan's most sophisticated landscape design. The garden appears simple at first glance, but each section represents a different era and philosophy of Japanese garden design. The 3 gardens showcase pond garden, moss garden, and tea ceremony garden styles, each creating different emotional experiences through careful plant and stone placement. The Pond Garden displays traditional landscaping techniques, while the Moss Garden provides a serene atmosphere. The Tea Ceremony Garden offers contemplation space. Spring brings cherry blossoms, summer offers lush green moss, autumn provides spectacular maple colors with red, orange, and yellow leaves, and winter reveals the garden's structural beauty. The genius becomes apparent when you understand how each garden manipulates your perspective and emotions through ancient design principles still used today. Spend 45 minutes moving slowly through all 3 sections. Next up is Isuien Garden, and this garden is considered one of Japan's finest examples of borrowed scenery technique, where distant mountains become part of the garden design through careful planning. The entrance fee keeps many visitors away, but those who enter discover techniques that influence garden design throughout Japan. The garden uses shake, or borrowed scenery, to incorporate Mount Wakakusa and Todai-ji's roofline into the garden composition, creating scenes that change with seasons and weather. The tea house offers the best vantage point for understanding the borrowed scenery technique, with traditional suites enhancing the contemplative experience. The sophistication becomes clear when you realize every element is precisely placed to create perfect views from multiple angles, demonstrating the highest level of landscape artistry. Allocate 60 minutes including tea house visit, ideally during late afternoon for optimal lighting. Another essential spot is Toshodai-ji Temple, built by a Chinese monk who traveled to Japan to establish proper Buddhist ordination. This temple represents the international exchange that shaped Japanese Buddhism. Located outside the main tourist circuit, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is often skipped despite containing some of Japan's most important Buddhist architecture. Ganjin made 6 dangerous sea voyages to reach Japan and establish authentic Buddhist practices at this temple in 759. His determination brought Tang Dynasty architectural styles that you can still see today. The temple is 30 minutes by bus from central Nara, requires 60 minutes to explore properly, and offers insights into early Japanese-Chinese cultural exchange. The temple's unique architecture blends Chinese and Japanese styles, showing how international influence created distinctly Japanese Buddhist traditions. Plan for half-day trip including travel time, ideally combined with nearby Yakushi-ji for efficient temple touring. Our next destination is Yakushi-ji Temple, and one of Japan's oldest temples contains a 3-story pagoda that has survived 300 years of earthquakes, fires, and wars through ingenious engineering that modern architects still study. While most of the temple was rebuilt in modern times, the original East Pagoda stands as proof of ancient Japanese engineering mastery that seems almost impossible. The pagoda's flexible wooden construction allows it to sway with earthquakes rather than resist them, using techniques that were forgotten and only recently rediscovered. The pagoda appears to have 6 stories from outside due to decorative roofs, but actually contains only 3 functional levels. Standing before this ancient structure reveals how Japanese craftsmen achieved longevity through working with natural forces rather than against them. Spend 45 minutes exploring the temple grounds and understanding the pagoda's construction, ideally combined with Toshodai-ji visit. Last on our list of things to do is Heijo Palace Site Historical Park, and on a vast field north of modern Nara, archaeologists have recreated buildings from Japan's first permanent capital, allowing you to walk through 8th century Imperial Japan. This massive site can seem empty and confusing without understanding that you're standing where Japan transformed from a collection of tribes into a unified nation. This palace complex was the center of power when Japan adopted Chinese governmental systems, created its first written laws, and established Buddhism as a state religion. Rent a bicycle to cover the large site efficiently, focus on the reconstructed Daigo-kuden main hall, and use the museum to understand what the original complex looked like. The scale becomes impressive when you realize this palace complex housed the entire imperial government and court, with thousands of people working in buildings that stretched across the landscape. Plan 2 to 3 hours including museum visit and cycling. The secret to an unforgettable Nara experience isn't just seeing these 18 attractions, but understanding how they connect to tell the story of Japan's birth as a nation. Plan your visit using this checklist approach, spending quality time at fewer places rather than rushing through everything. Nara offers something unique, the chance to experience Japan's spiritual, cultural, and political foundations all within walking distance of each other. If this guide helped you plan your perfect Nara trip, hit that like button and subscribe for more Japan travel content. Drop a comment below telling me which attraction you're most excited to visit when you get to Nara.